morning, everyone, at least for the people that are in Europe. I'm Alessandra Scicchitano. I'm the founder of Aures, a consulting company that support businesses in building high impact products. And today I want to talk with you about this concept, Techintheloop, that I created. That is a framework that now I use for my work. And I want to tell you why I think this is going to be the future. So everything started with a research that I was doing on human-centered AI, and I came across this paper, which is a very nice paper. It's not a technical one. It just brings a fresh perspective to human-centered artificial intelligence. And the author was using this analogy to the Copernican revolution. He was looking at the method that is used in artificial intelligence, which is called machine in the loop. So, human in the loop. So the idea is that machines are at the center and humans provide input to help the machines learn better and faster. So the idea is to have artificial intelligence in the middle and have the humans going around as a support to the machines themselves. So to explain human-centered AI, he sort of introduced this second Copernican revolution. So the idea here is to put the humans in the middle and have artificial intelligence going around. So the goal here is to make sure that artificial intelligence is built in a way that supports humans and improves humans' quality of life. He was talking about, using human-centered design, a special approach to user experience, and I thought it made sense. And I also thought that not only artificial intelligence should be built that way, but all tech should be built. So I thought instead of having artificial intelligence or machine in the loop, we should all move to tech in the loop. And by following the analogy that he was using, then Techintheloop, or TILT, as I call it, a little bit shorter, should look like this. So we have the humans, and then we make sure that tech is built with a human-centered approach in order to improve quality of life. But while I was working on this, at the same time, I was trying to put together a framework to support the work that I do with my clients. And I realized that it wasn't enough. I realized that there were other things that needed to be brought in, that this whole concept needed to be, so to say, exploded, a little bit, making a little bit bigger and bring in more things. So I thought that to stay, in the universe thing and to keep going with the Copernican revolution, I thought that tech should actually look more like Neptune. So tech should have satellites while going around humans. And the satellites should look at all these aspects that have an impact on tech and on our quality of life. So Neptune has 14 satellites. Actually, here we don't have 14, we have 6, but based on which tech we look at, we might have more. But these 6 are the basic ones. Some of them are immediate. Some others needs a little bit more thinking. So the first one is ethics. There is clearly a lot going on about ethics. We hear talking about it more and more. So it's becoming clear that tech and tech products cannot ignore ethics anymore. So we have to make sure that while building a tech product, we do include an ethical approach. The other one is diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is also, people are paying more and more attention to it. And while in the past, there was no talking in the tech world about such a topic, today it's also here it's not possible anymore, because we know that tech has an impact, and we need to build tech by coming from that perspective, by wanting to be diverse, by wanting to be inclusive. And then we have human experience and user experience. So in order to have really an impact on the market, we need to, in general, on people's life, we need to understand where people are coming from. So user experience is the moment the person reaches the tech, and human experience starts even before. So if we really want to support people's life, if we really want to have an impact, we cannot build tech ignoring what people want, their plan for using our products. We have to start from there, actually. And then we have innovation. Innovation goes through cycles. And we need to be sure to know exactly at which cycle we are. And actually, before that, after we find out what kind of problem, what kind of improvement we want to introduce, that's the moment to look at innovation and really understand the cycle of innovation, what tech we want to use to achieve that goal, and at which point of the cycle the tech is. I have here as the last one, but this is really not the last in terms of importance. It's something that I keep repeating very often: human control. In the past years, with so many things that have happened around us, we have gone from a place of trusting completely tech, so by being excited by using tech, to a point where we are not so sure we trust it. Actually, we distrust it. So many things have happened, and now when we have a piece of tech, or when we use a new technology, or when we log into a new website, we always ask ourselves, okay, but how is this going to work? How are you going to use my data? What about privacy? So it's something that we need to accommodate. We need to build that trust again with our products. So once I started working with this framework, I realized that it was applying really to emerging, especially to emerging technologies. And I would like to share with you, how to look at an emerging technology from the tilt approach. And since everything started with artificial intelligence, I thought the best example would be to go back with you to artificial intelligence and look at really every satellite that we have in tilt, and see whether it really applies to artificial intelligence. So the first one is ethics. As I said in the previous slide, there is so much going on around ethics, and so many groups that have born specifically to look at artificial intelligence and ethics. Here I have just listed really few. So For Humanity is building an independent audit for artificial intelligence and automation in general, to check really that the algorithms and the machines are built in an ethical way. Then we have All Tech is Human. All Tech does the same thing, but with a general approach to tech. Then we have the Montreal Artificial Intelligence Ethics Institute, the AI Ethics Labs. I mean, really, these are really just few. People are looking into this. People want to be sure that the tech that surrounds us is doing good for us and not exploiting our vulnerabilities, not using our information. We are not willing to accept that anymore. And this is when I say that, for some things, for many things that have happened, we have lost trust. And on top of that, the European Commission also announced the new AI regulation. They just released a draft of the regulation, but it is coming. So we cannot ignore it anymore if even law is going in that direction. And we don't want to ignore it anymore. So tech should be built in an ethical way. Then I talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Everything started a few years ago when at some point, I think this was really the first case, a recruiting tool that was using artificial intelligence. I'm pretty sure you've heard about it. At some point, it showed that it was biased against women. And from there, it was like a rolling. Then they found out that it was not just women, but it was like favoring white men. So also people of color were excluded. And then not just recruiting tool, but many other artificial intelligence algorithms were proven to be biased in a way or in another. And there are research groups looking into this. For every algorithm that is put out there, especially from big corporation, they are analyzed, and call out in case they show some form of racist. So even here, I don't think it's a good idea to ignore this, but should be included in the process of building artificial intelligence. And then we have human user experience or human centricity. Well, AI is everywhere. It's coming more and more in different sectors. And it's not a case that we hear very often human centricity, patient centricity. Even Gardner, by the end of last year, announced that one of the tech innovation trends was going to be people centricity. If such a technology has such an impact, it has to be built around people. That's something we cannot ignore. And this is more of a provocative thought, a provocative question that I want to just throw out there to you. Artificial intelligence is a hype at the moment, and there is a lot going on. Investors want to invest in artificial intelligence, but my question is really artificial intelligence the answer to everything? Because there are some projects where I see a clear fit and an added value, but there are some others that is questionable, and I am not supportive of following the hype. I always think we should use the tech that is really best for the goal that we have. And the last one, but my favorite, is human control. So as I said, we don't trust tech anymore. And there was a research published not long ago that looked into a very good cybersecurity solution and the reason why nobody was actually using it. And even though it was so good. And the result, of this work was that actually employees from this company, they just didn't trust. So they complained that they didn't know, they didn't understand how it worked. They didn't know how to set up initially. And they wanted to understand more, but nobody took the time to explain. And the biggest fear was that what if, a mistake is made? Who's going to be fired? The employee or the machine? So clearly, we need to have more control. And in order to give control to the users, we have to be transparent. So this is something else that I truly believe in. So why do I believe this is the future? Because this is the current situation. Every day, we have so much tech coming to us, so much innovation, so many brilliant ideas, so many startups. There is so much noise. And in order to stand out, in order to make an impact, we have to follow a different approach. We cannot do what we were always doing. We need to change. And the second thing that to me is very important is that there was a time where there were people building technology and people using technology. The line doesn't exist anymore. We all use technology. We are all digital users. And we know that either we are given exactly what we want, or we will just move on to the next topic, to the next session. To the next product. And the idea is that we will stop when we find what more or less what we want, something similar to what we want. Otherwise, we will keep moving on, because we know, and this is the part that I love the most, we know that now we can choose. We have a lot of choice out there. We don't need to be stuck with something that is not what we want or not what we like. And with this, I want to thank you to be here with me today. I have posted in the chat my LinkedIn, so I'd be super happy to connect. This is my Twitter handle. And if you have any question, we have 5 more minutes. I'm super happy to answer all the questions you have. Nevena, good morning to you. Thank you for being here with, and sharing that you find it interesting. Thank you, Susanna, for sharing that you're loving the session. I hope this session brings a new light to how, in my opinion, technology should be built, to the new approach that we should have. And yes, introducing bias in tech is extremely easy. That's because we are humans, and tech is built by humans. And even with machine learning, now there is, I'm not going to go into details, like there is a new approach that might even remove the human in the loop concept to avoid bias, but the initial setup in artificial intelligence is given by a person. And if that person brings in bias, the machine builds on the bias, and it will be more and more biased. So it's extremely easy to do that. The good news is that we are aware. We are now aware. We live in an era where we know our power as users. We know we can be demanding. We don't have to accept anything, and we can ask for more. And this is what's happening. There is a lot of talking out there, and the good thing is that corporation, all the people that have built tech and imposed it on people, we are at the point where they can do that less and less. So yes, this is, if any of you is interested, maybe because I still have a few minutes and I don't see questions coming in. I also have on this, I have a newsletter, because Tilt is a concept that I created. So if you people are interested in that, every 2 weeks I share a newsletter with the things that I come across that I like the most, with the things that I think are useful to build tech. And I'll be super happy, if you want. Let me check that this is really the right, because when being in a rush and talking, yes, that's the right link. I didn't mistype it. You can also read there, the things I come across, the things I study myself, because I think this topic is very fascinating on under many aspects. So I see that there are no questions. But I read that people think that's interesting. So I thank you very much for your time spent with me today. I hope to connect with you all, and I hope you have enjoyed. I read that this seems the case, and I hope there are no questions, because I've been so good at presenting it that everything was super clear. And thank you very much. And I wish you a great day, a great continuation with this amazing conference. And I'll hope you to see you again soon somewhere else. So goodbye.